Hi guys. Okay, hope your notes are out and ready. Today, our lesson is about multiplying and dividing integers. So go ahead and get your notes out. If you don't, pause, get some notes out, and write down today's I can sentence. I can multiply and divide with integers. I'm trying a different background paper today. See if we like it. Okay, multiplying and dividing integers. There's a couple rules here, okay? There's a couple rules for multiplying and dividing integers. There's two, in fact, and they're very, very important, okay? When you're multiplying or dividing with two numbers that have the same signs, so they're both they're both positive or they're both negative, okay? Multiplying or dividing. Remember, today is all about multiplying and dividing only. So if you're multiplying or dividing with two numbers that have the same signs, they're both positive or they're both negative, your answer will always be positive, okay? No matter what, it'll always be a positive number. I know, weird, right? We'll talk about that in a minute. When you're multiplying or dividing with two numbers that have different signs, okay, so a positive and a negative, or a negative and a positive, all right, then your answer will always be a negative number. Yep, when there's two different ones, the negative always kind of wins there. All right, so this is the rule you need to remember. Same signs give you a positive answer, different signs give you a negative answer. And this works for every multiplying and dividing with positive and negative numbers, integers. So let's look at a couple examples. We're going to start pretty basic here. Okay, example number 1. All right, let's talk about negative 3 times a positive 4. Okay, negative 3 times positive 4. Now, if you're looking at something in a digital format, like on BuzzMath or iExcel, or even when we take like state testing, you're probably going to see it written more like this: negative 3 times a positive 4. All right, where the parentheses kind of help show you that the negative goes with this and the positive goes with this. All right, or better yet, you're going to see it written like this: negative 3 times a positive or a regular 4. Because we know that when you write next to each other with parentheses, that means multiplying. Okay? Okay, so here's what you do. You first just do just the numbers. Ignore the signs. Ignore the signs. Okay? And just do the numbers. So do 3 times 4, which we know is 12. Okay? Then go back and look at the signs. All right, here we have a negative, and here's nothing, so we know it's a positive. They are different signs. All right, if we go back and look at our rule, different signs give us a negative answer. So our answer is 12, but it's going to be negative 12. Okay? Not too bad, right? Let's look at example number 2. Example number 2. Let's look at a negative 28 divided by a negative 7. Okay, negative 28 divided by negative 7. Notice I wrote it with the fraction symbol, division symbol. You can rewrite it if you want. Negative 28 divided by negative 7. Okay. Remember, the first thing we do is we just look at the numbers. All right, we have a 28 being divided by a 7. And we know that 28 divided by 7 is 4. Now go back and look at the signs. We have a negative and a negative. They are the same. And when we have two of the same signs, your answer is going to always be a positive. So we can write a positive 4 like that, or we can just write a regular 4 because we know that's also positive. Okay? You're getting the hang of it? Same signs, positive, different signs. Answer is going to always be negative. Now, how does this get more complicated? Let's see. If I want to complicate this any further, if I were to go into a challenge question, so to say, maybe I have 3 numbers. So -5 times a positive 2 times a -8. Now I have 3 numbers I'm multiplying together. Okay? So here's what you do. We're just going to do the first 2 first. Okay, just do the first 2. So what do we have here in our first 2? We have a 5 times a 2. And we're going to kind of run this like drop down work. All right, 5 times 2 is 10. I'm going to write it down here. And then if I look at my signs, I have a negative and a positive. They're different. And I know that different signs give me a negative answer. So it's going to be a -10. Now, that only took care of 2 of the numbers. Okay? I still have to take this answer and multiply it by what's left, which is a -8. All right? So ignore the signs, just do the numbers first. I have a 10 being multiplied by an 8. And I know that that is, I'm going to go over here, 80. And then if I look, I have a negative and a negative. Right? They are same signs. And I know that any multiplying or dividing that has the same signs, my answer is always going to be positive. So go back over here. My answer is going to be a positive 80, so I can write plus 80, or I can just write the number 80. Either way, those are both going to be correct. Okay? So the multiplying and dividing part's not that difficult. We just have those 2 rules to remember. All right? When you're dealing with numbers that have the same signs, 2 numbers that have the same signs, your answer is always going to be a positive. And if you're dealing with 2 numbers that have different signs, your answer is always going to be a negative. If you can remember that, memorize that, you're going to be in pretty good shape. I know, short lesson. There really is not much to it, so go ahead and get on your Schoology quiz. And I would even copy this down on your paper before you start working, just so it's in front of you. Okay? Oh, you know what you could do? All right, you could. There's kind of a key. With the same sign business, okay, you could go, okay, a positive times a positive, a negative times a negative. You could go a positive divided by a positive, and a negative divided by a negative. And that you can write down your combinations, if that helps you. But this part right here should be good enough to get you on the